I know week 1 of the NFL season still isn't over, but I think it's time for the Texans to, turn the page, forget about the Patriots, and focus on Tennessee. And we're going to be doing the same. Now, in general, in the NFL, it's really, really hard to judge a team based off 1 week of play, especially that 1 week being week 1. You don't really have a real feel for the teams till like around early October, maybe mid-October. That's like when you really know what you have with that team. But I feel like this especially applies to Tennessee because of the disastrous week 1 game that they had against Miami. Not only did they lose, but they also lost Delanie Walker, their best receiver for the season. Mariota suffered an elbow injury, which is something to definitely look out for. I'm pretty sure he's going to play against the Texans, but still something to look out for. And then there's Taylor Lewan, their franchise left tackle, suffered a concussion, so I don't know if he'll play with concussions. I think it's 50-50. 50% of the time they don't play the following week. The other 50% of the time they do play. So it's just, a coin flip on whether Taylor Lewan will play or not. We'll definitely hear more about that throughout the week. But I'm just going to go out and say he will play. But it is going to be really hard to judge this Titans team because look at the game they played. If you were paying attention, they had 2 weather delays. The game was played over a 7-hour stretch. So, for example, if Tennessee had the momentum and then boom, they hit them with the weather delay, and they come back out and they lose all the momentum. The same thing could be said about Miami. Like, I didn't watch the game, but something like that could have very well happened. So it's really hard to judge this team. But I'm going to try my best. At quarterback, of course, you got Marcus Mariota. Last year, Mariota was absolutely terrible. This week 1, it was inconsistent. Of course, most of that could have been because of the injury. I did hear he was doing pretty decent before the injury. He came back in, threw 2 picks, and then they sat him out for the rest of the game. Put in Blaine Gabbert, and you guys know, what Blaine Gabbert is. Terrible quarterback. So Mariota, I just say he's an inconsistent quarterback. I'm not too sure because they do have a new coaching staff on what they really want to do. Then you got the O-line. Right tackle Jack Conklin, he's going to be out till like probably late September, early October. I don't expect him to see him this week. If he does, they're probably rushing him because he did tear his ACL mid-January last year against the Patriots in the playoffs. So Conklin, I don't expect him back. Interior offensive line, same as last year. Kind of inconsistent. Not really too good. Their offensive line, again, is made by their tackles. I'm pretty sure I've said this. They probably have the best tackle tandem in the league, if not top 2, with Philly being 1. And then you got Taylor Lewan, their franchise star left tackle. He's an elite player, but he is concussed. So I'm not too sure if he's going to play. If both Conklin and Taylor Lewan don't play, then Tennessee's in some trouble. If Lewan can play, then, they're good. So their offensive line, pass blocking wise, I've heard that they're really not that good, which is really surprising to me because if you go back to 2016, they had a really dominant offensive line across the board, and the offensive line they had in 2016 is the exact same offensive line they have now. So I don't know what's going on here. I heard that most of the pressure comes from the middle, obviously, because you got 2 really good tackles on the outside. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe they just overperformed that year, maybe it's regression. Not too sure. Now receivers. We already talked about Delanie Walker, man. Unfortunately, he's out for the season. Delanie Walker's probably their best offensive player. Actually, I will say he's their best offensive player. It's undebatable. Delanie Walker is one of the most underrated players in the NFL, and it sucks that he's out for the season. At wide receiver, they don't really have much. They have top 5 overall pick in Corey Davis, who hasn't really done much. So, again, it's hard to judge a player when he hasn't really played that much. And then you have Rashad Matthews, Tywan Taylor, Rashad Matthews, he's played a lot, but he's nothing special. And Tywan Taylor, again, he's entering his second year, hasn't shown anything. So the receivers, without Walker, they're probably one of the worst set of receivers in the league. Of course, you got Dion Lewis, who against Miami had 5 receptions for like 35 yards. So with Dion Lewis, it's an extra receiving weapon. He might be their go-to target, and something that is kind of surprising to me in the run game. The Titans utilized Dion Lewis more than Derrick Henry. I don't know if that was just riding the hot hand, how the coaches say, or if it was more of a that's the plan. I don't know if the Titans plan on making Dion Lewis their primary back with Derrick Henry being their change of pace back. I thought it would be the other way around, but again, after 1 week, it's hard to tell what teams are planning throughout the season, or for the season, for that matter. Now, on defense, this game against Miami, they kind of struggled to stop the run. Miami was able to get over 100 yards rushing on them, and when you compare that to last year, this was one of the top run stopping units in the league. So yeah, it might be an area of concern, but it also might not, because they did have their first and second round pick out with injuries, which is Rashaan Evans and Harold Landry. So that's definitely going to help them out once they come back. And I'm not sure if they'll come back this week. I would assume they will, but again, you just don't know. It's still kind of early in the week. And pass rushing wise, there's really wasn't much there week 1, but I think Derek Morgan's a decent pass rusher. Nowhere near elite. That's why they drafted Harold Landry to take over for him. And you got Brian Orakpo, who's a pretty good pass rusher. I wouldn't say elite either, but he's really good. I'll put him in that good to really good range. So they can definitely get after the quarterback. Of course, you got Jarrell Casey in the middle. Other than that, you don't really have much else in the front. That's why they drafted Harold Landry and Rashaan Evans to, be star players for that defensive front. In the secondary, we got probably what is one of the most overrated secondaries in the league. Logan Ryan, he's not good. Malcolm Butler is not good. I'm sorry, but they're not good. Adoree Jackson, I feel like he had a pretty underrated year last year. He was decent. And I think this year he could, do better, take some steps forward going into the second year. But Malcolm Butler and Logan Ryan are not good players. I'm pretty sure you guys saw Malcolm Butler got burned against the Dolphins for like 75 yards by Kenny Stills. And that's just been the story with Malcolm Butler. I feel like Malcolm Butler is just a player that made one good play in the Super Bowl and boom, all of a sudden he was a star, even though he wasn't. I mean, he got benched in the Super Bowl for a reason. At safety, you have Kevin Byard and Kenny Vaccaro. Now, Kevin Byard, he's a little underrated. I think he's an up-and-coming star safety, if not already a star safety. I think he's really good. Definitely a guy to look out for throughout the season. And Kenny Vaccaro, he's a huge upgrade over what they had there last year, which was Jonathan Cyprien. I don't think Cyprien's a very good player. I think Kenny Vaccaro is way better. So they have a pretty good safety duo up there. Now, of course, Kenny Vaccaro is more of a run stopper, but when you have Kevin Byard as your other safety, you can get away with that. And overall, like, it's hard, really hard, to really judge this Titans team after 1 week. When you consider the whole injuries, the 7-hour long game against Miami, and then the fact that they have a new coaching staff, it's really difficult to judge this Tennessee Titans team. I won't really have a good feel for them till like around week 6. And, you know, once you have a player like Delanie Walker go out, game plans start changing. We don't know if they'll try to run the ball more. We don't know if they'll try to get the ball more to Corey Davis. We don't know if they'll try to pass the ball to Dion Lewis. We don't know what the Titans are going to do from here. Again, after 1 week, it's hard to judge any team. So, that's all I really have for you guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.